Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Political Vigilante. My name is Graham Elwood. There's an interesting op-ed piece in truthdig.com that was written by Bill Blum, and it's called Panic and Trump Line, but Clinton Camp Should Be Weary. This just came out. This was written Monday evening after all the indictments came out this past week, and it's talking about how obviously all the Trump people are running for the hills because they're all getting indictments, but it's bringing up the fact, and I've been saying this too, is, you know, some neoliberal friends of mine are like, yeah, we got Trump. And I'm like, yeah, Trump's awful. I hope he goes to jail. This would be great. I would love to see Trump in jail. I would love to see Trump in jail. It would be fantastic. But the idea that, like, the Clintons, you know, one friend of mine was like, oh, the Uranium One deal has been debunked. And I'm like, who debunked it? Snopes? Yeah, I don't trust Snopes, as Jimmy Dore showed that that Snopes not really to be trusted. I don't trust the Clintons. I don't trust any of them. And so I wanted to go into this because it's the fallout from all of these Mueller indictments. And then, of course, I did the article on that was the video from NewsBud about how Mueller has ties to, like, severe Islamic fundamentalists that he's been protecting. Like, he has conflict of interest. The whole thing is like all it does is just basically validate everything that people like Hedges and Noam Chomsky have been saying, that this is a corporate state, everything's bought and paid for. There are no liberal institutions, there are no checks and balances because the deep state controls everything. And this what this indictment is showing. So here is what I'll go into some of the basic stuff that this article goes into about Manafort and everything that's been going on. So the 31-page indictment, which CNN first reported on Friday, was unsealed early Monday. Signed by Mueller himself, it charges Manafort and Gates with 12 counts, including conspiracy against the United States, money laundering, and making false statements, among other offenses, stemming from their work as political consultants on behalf of the former pro-Russian government of Ukraine. Oh, the Ukraine. The indictment alleges that Manafort and Gates failed to register as required by federal law as foreign agents of Ukraine. Manafort, specifically, is charged with laundering and failing to pay income taxes over $18 million in payment received from Ukraine between 2008 and 2017 that he funneled through scores of United States and foreign corporations, partnerships, and bank accounts. Gates is accused of laundering more than $3 million. Both are alleged to have used the laundered funds to buy goods and services and, above all, real estate located in New York City, the Hamptons, Long Island, Virginia, Florida, and California. They were arraigned and they both entered not guilty pleas. Bail is $10 million for Manafort, $5 million for Gates. Then what happened? Mueller and his team disclosed that George Papadopoulos, a 30-year-old and heretofore obscure former Trump campaign foreign policy advisor, had entered a guilty plea in a federal district court in Washington, D.C. on October 5th to a single count of lying to the FBI about his knowledge of and involvement with the Russian government's involvement in interfering with the 2016 election. In filing the guilty plea, Papadopoulos is reported cooperating with Mueller on other aspects of the Russian probe. Boom. The Manafort-Gates indictment is a body blow to the Trump administration. I don't know, you think? The Papadopoulos guilty plea is a mortal threat, one that could conceivably bolster an obstruction of justice charge against the president, leading eventually to call for impeachment. It is also, as explained below, a potential threat to the Clinton campaign. Two questions here. One, how come Trump wasn't just flat out indicted? They didn't have enough evidence to indict Trump? Right. So let's go in, though, to how the Clintons should be how they're threatened with this. Obviously, Trump he's been melting down all week. You know, he keeps bringing up the uranium-Russian deal, which some people have debunked, but it was in the New York Times, and that article was pulled. It has not been debunked. They're trying to debunk it because I think the Clintons realize that was why when I kept saying, I said this months ago, why is this taking so long? I go, because everyone in there is guilty. The Clintons are guilty, Obama's guilty, Trump's guilty. They're all guilty, right? They've all been doing all corrupt business. That's why everyone was stalling this and pulling in favors and all this other shit. So here's the thing that is interesting. Okay. In late April, a professor told Papadopoulos that he and the Russian female had dirt on Hillary Clinton in the form of thousands of emails. Thereafter, and continuing through the middle of August 2016, according to the statement, Papadopoulos corresponded and communicated with high-ranking Trump campaign officials, as well as the professor and the Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, in an effort to arrange a meeting between the Trump campaign and the Russian government. In potentially explosive footnote on page 8, the statement alleges that the Trump campaign staffer, who is not named but is included in the unfolding Papadopoulos email loop, cautioned with regard to the proposed meeting, "We need someone to communicate that DT is not doing these trips. It should be someone low level in the campaign so as not to send a signal." The statement does not disclose whether the proposed meeting or some variant of it ever took place. So then here's the so that opens up to what else did they have on Clinton? So the Russians have something on Clinton, and then the Trumps were trying to get something on Clinton, and that's why the Clinton campaign is a little leery. But there is no federal case law directly on point that answers the question if information as common sense would deem to dictate it is indeed a thing of value when Donald Jr. and perhaps even the president himself are in jeopardy of being charged with conspiracy to violate the FECA, the Federal Election Campaign Act. But so too, and here is where the Mueller investigation could take another very ironic and unexpected turn, would be the Hillary Clinton presidential campaign, the Democratic National Committee for funding the preparation of the Steele dossier. According to a complaint filed with the FEC last week by Nonpartisan Campaign Legal Center, the Clinton campaign failed to accurately disclose payments related to the Steele dossier in its FEC paperwork. Now, we've talked about this. Jimmy Dore's talked about this. According to the complaint, the Clinton campaign and the DNC paid over $12 million to the Washington, D.C. law firm Perkins Coie, but listed the funds only as payment for legal services. The Clinton campaign and the DNC didn't reveal to the FEC that part of the $12 million was remitted to Fusion GPS, a DC research and strategic intelligence firm. Fusion had initially been hired by the Washington Beacon, a conservative news outlet that opposed Trump's nomination to conduct anti-Trump research. The Clinton camp agreed to retain Fusion, and Fusion in turn retained Orbis Business Intelligence, a British firm founded by Steele to dig dirt up on Trump's ties to Russia. The notorious dossier, based largely on Steele's long-standing contacts with Russian sources, was the product of those efforts. So, if Mueller concludes that Donald Jr. and other Trump insiders are guilty of conspiring to violate federal election laws by colluding with Russia to obtain damaging information about Clinton, he may also be compelled to conclude that officials from the Clinton campaign and the DNC are similarly guilty for colluding with Steele, Orbis, and their Russian sources. It shouldn't matter that Steele is a friendly foreign national, while Putin and Kremlin are seen by many as archenemies. Equality under the law, a time-honored principle that Mueller is duty-bound to respect, should demand nothing less. I would love to see everyone uncovered. Because if this is uncovered and you show that the Clintons cheated and Trump cheated, you know what it would do? It would really open the way for a third party. Any of us that supported Bernie know this. We saw the superdelegates, what they did. We saw the Podesta emails, right? We saw what Debbie Wasserman Schultz did. We saw what Donna Brazile did. So I hope this unveils everybody. Now, Mueller, of course, there's done a story. He should recuse himself. He has conflict of interest. Can we even trust him? Who knows? And what backdoor favors are being pulled by everybody right now? It's hard to trust any of these institutions. How do you trust the FBI? How do you trust the DOJ? How do you trust any of these places? But I would love for everybody to see how corrupt Trump and the Clintons are, and how corrupt the DNC is, and the GOP. Then we could really form a real third party. That could happen, and that could change America for the better. We have an opportunity here. We're on the brink of complete collapse and destruction. We're on the brink of civil war. Like, this could be an awful house of cards, or this could be the thing that independents and progressive rise phoenix-like above the ashes of this 16 debacle and retake this country. And we start to overhaul everything, get corporate money out of politics, redo the whole election system, get rid of the Electoral College. Maybe I'm being overly optimistic. But the fact, I never thought indictments were going to come. I thought they were going to just keep spinning their wheels, and Rachel Maddow would go, oh, I'm going to connect the dots for another fucking 18 months or some shit. So that's what I hope. The link to this article is in the show notes below. Support truthdig.com, they're independent media. Support this show, mypatreon.com/Graham Elwood. Thank you for watching and supporting independent media. Because CNN and MSNBC and Fox, who God knows whatever Fox is talking about, they're not going to talk about this. And these indictments in this way. They're certainly not.